away your freedom. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I just happen to be standing in their way. Away your freedom. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I just happen to be standing in their way. And it's not, let me tell you, we're not letting it happen. It's too late anyway, the voting's already begun. You got to go out and vote. We got to vote. This is going to be the most important vote in the history of our country. It'll be the most important. People said that I was angry at the debate. Angry. I was angry. And yes, I am angry because he allowed 21 million illegal aliens invading our communities. Many of them are criminals. Many are criminals. I'm angry. I'm angry. They said he's an angry person. No, they're destroying our country. I don't like. She's smiling. All practice, right? Did you see her? She's like it. We're talking about a border invasion, the likes of which no country has ever suffered, and she's like this. But I am angry about Venezuelan gangs taking over Aurora, Colorado, and illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there a while ago. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens. I'm angry about rampant inflation destroying our middle class, and the American people are also very angry about that and every other thing that we've had to endure for 3.5 years. That's why 54 days from now, we are going to tell Harris that we've had enough. Our country can't take it anymore. We're going to go, Comrade Kamala Harris, you've done a horrible job. You've been the worst vice president in the history of our country. You had no chance of getting this position. You shouldn't have had it. You got no votes, whether you like Biden or not. He got 14 million votes. She had none, not one. We're going to go, Comrade, you're fired. Get out. Get out. Get out. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So, thank you. Wasn't The Apprentice a great show, though? Wasn't it? Do you think if I didn't do The Apprentice, because that's a big question, because a lot of people in Hollywood are blaming themselves for this. They're saying if we didn't do The Apprentice, he wouldn't be. But you know, they all vote for me, you know that, because they want to pay low taxes. They talk about, no, we don't like Trump. But when they go to vote, they go, anybody watch? It's true. They want low taxes, no crime, great schools, strong military. They don't want a border invasion. They don't want people pouring across the border illegally from prisons and places. So they go in, they say, no, I'm not for Trump at all. I will never vote for him. Then they go in. It's true. And then they go out and they do exit polls. And you know, in 2016 and 2020, where I got millions more votes, by the way, I hate to say that, they say, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. No, it's called, I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. And they said we lost. I was told if I got 63 million votes, which is what I got in 2016, you can't lose. Just get 63. I got close to 12 million more votes than that. And we lost, but we didn't lose. And we're never going to let that happen again in this country. We're never going to let that happen. We can't let that happen again. But when they had exit polls, 2016, and they said, oh, he's getting killed in the exit polls. And I remember NBC and that stupid ABC that did this horrible debate. Those two people should be fired as an anchor. A couple of more years, they'll be fired. And she was nasty. She looked at me with hatred in her eyes. And him, he's a nice guy. I mean, they were told to do it by George Slobodanopoulos, who's in the group, right? George Slobodanopoulos. But on the exit polls, so people are walking out and they're saying, would like to know something, sir. Who'd you vote for? And they'd say, Crooked Hillary or Trump, right? But so many of them, like almost 50%, said, none of your business who we voted for. They have a tougher word, 2 words, not like Biden, 1 word, and then he gives 2. 2 words. They begin with the letters F-U. That's what they say to the people. F-U. I would never say them because we have a lot of young people here. My audience they've gotten younger and younger. Do you notice that? Younger and younger. Don't worry, I still like the old people the best. I don't care. I don't care. Let that cost me, all these young people. Let that cost me the election. I still like the old people the best. Got to stay with the people that got you there, right? I love what we're doing for the old people, you'll hear. But so that was the 2 words, but I don't want to use those words. So they said, none of your business, which is not really what they said. And they walked out, and everybody said, Trump is finished. He's not getting the numbers. Because in the past, nobody said that. They'd say, I'm voting for this one or that one. There were no people that wouldn't say, they'd just say who they voted for. So what they did, thank you, darling, thank you. So what they did, she keeps saying, I love you, right in the middle of my punchline. So they always say one or the other. And I had one analyst who was very smart, but I was called by Fox, this person at Fox, sir, I'm sorry, sir, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And they say, this is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because, they've interviewed all these people. And another one would call me. They all said, oh, they were actually happy. Most of them were happy. Some were really sad, though. A lot of the people were really sad. So it came out, this is going to be a very short evening for Donald Trump. They were so happy. Martha Raddatz was actually crying at the end when I won. She was crying. You don't think she's biased, do you? Martha Raddatz, also of ABC. ABC is the worst of the group, by the way, I have to tell you. They're all bad. But the worst is ABC, and they proved that with the worst 2 anchors anybody's ever seen on this thing. They were the worst. At least they shouldn't have been so obvious, right? Libby. So anyway, so I walked out, and the people walked in, and I was getting calls that thousands of people all over the country. I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry. Then one guy calls me up who's a political, brilliant guy, and he said, sir, and I went to see, I don't think I've ever told this story. I went to see our great First Lady, and I said, darling, I got home from Michigan. I was in Michigan last stop. And I got home from Michigan at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had a rally. We had 42,000 people. At 1 o'clock, I did 7 rallies. I started in Florida. I went from Florida, where it was 88, to Michigan, where it was 20 degrees below zero. I said, if you don't catch a pneumonia in this business, you're never going to catch a pneumonia, right? But I went to our great First Lady, and I said, darling, and I felt okay. It was amazing because, the athletes, they say, I left it on the field. I left it all on the field. I said, well, I did, because I did 7 major rallies for 2 days, 7 each. Who the hell could do that? People were saying nobody else could do it. You think Biden could do it? I don't think so.
Our economy is dominated by monopolies, but the greatest of all monopolies is the federal monopoly, which oversees and controls all the other monopolies. So it's like, it's really substantially about the money. It's not ideological, it's about the money. And if someone controls the federal government, I mean, at this point, it's the most powerful organization in human history. Like, it's kind of hard to fight that. And in the case of Trump, I know the answer there. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They indicted him on bullshit charges. Like, and I felt that in myself too. Even I was like, come on. You know, like, whatever you think of Trump, and I agreed with his immigration views. And I really like Trump personally. I think he's hilarious and interesting, which he is. But it's like, okay, there are a lot of people in this country. Let's get some, you know, let's have at very least, like, let's have a real debate.
In this gripping video, Tucker Carlson delivers a penetrating analysis of the multifaceted challenges facing the United States, from the enigmatic figure of Donald Trump to the pervasive influence of monopolies. As a prominent commentator known for his unflinching commentary, Carlson dissects the complexities of contemporary American politics and economics with clarity and depth. With incisive commentary and compelling insights, he examines the implications of concentrated corporate power, highlighting its impact on democracy, economic mobility, and societal cohesion.
The second they raided Mar-a-Lago on a documents charge, as someone from DC, I was like, I know a lot about classification and all that stuff and been around it a lot. That's so absurd that I was like, now it's not about Trump. It's about our system continuing. Like, if you can take out a presidential candidate on a fake charge, use the justice system to take the guy out of the race, then we don't have a representative democracy anymore. And I think a lot of Republican voters felt that way. If they hadn't indicted him, I'm not sure he would be the nominee. It's just crazy this is happening in front of all of us. And then it becomes like, at that point, it's not about Joe Biden. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about preserving a system which has worked not perfectly, but pretty freaking well for 250 years. I know you don't like Trump, I get it. Let's not destroy that system. Like, we can handle another 4 years of Trump. I think we can. So I'll calm down. What we can't handle is a country whose political system is run by the Justice Department. Like, that is just, you're freaking Ecuador at that point. You can't have censorship in a democracy, by definition. Here's how it works. The people rule. They vote for representatives to carry their agenda to the capital city and get it enacted. That's how they're in charge. And then every few years, they get to reassess the performance of those people in an election. In order to do that, they need access, unfettered access to information. And no one, particularly not people who are already in power, is allowed to tell them what information they can have. They have to have all information that they want. Whether the people in charge want it, or don't want it, or think it's true, or think it's false, it doesn't matter. And the second you don't have that, you don't have a democracy. It's not a free election, period. And that's very clear in other countries, I guess, but it's not clear here. So, but I would say it's this election that, I mean, it took me a while to come to this, but it's this election that's the referendum on democracy. Biden is senile. He's literally senile. He can't talk. He can't walk. The whole world knows that. Leave our borders. People are, you know, everybody in the world knows it. Like, who would vote for a senile man? He literally can't talk. And nobody I've ever met thinks he's running the U.S. government, because he's not. And I guess it shows how dumb I am, because they've been doing that for many years. I mean, the guy who took out Mossadegh lived on my street. One of the Roosevelt CIA officer. So, I mean, again, I grew up around this stuff, but I never reached the obvious conclusion, which is that if the U.S. government subverts democracy in other countries in the name of democracy, it will over time subvert democracy in my country. Why wouldn't it? That is, the corruption is like core. It's at the root of it.
Away your freedom.
Das sind Verbrecher, ganz egal wer es ist. Es geht um Taten und nicht darum, welche Flagge man hisst. Bei eurem medialen Doppelstandard mach ich nicht mit. Ich sag die Wahrheit, ganz egal, ob ich das darf oder nicht.